Hello everybody, Mike here. In today's video I want to talk about a very specific technique that I use all the time, and that is volume swells. So volume swells are when you sound a note with the volume muted on your guitar, and then you fade the volume back in gradually whilst playing the note. So the typical times I'll use this technique are for anything with more of a sort of ballad type vibe, or a breakdown section in a song, anything with maybe an ambient feel, stuff like that. And it's an interesting technique that kind of makes your guitar not sound like a guitar. It makes it sound like almost makes it sound like a pedal steel. And when I've utilised this technique on other people's tracks, that is actually what they have mistaken it for. And all you've got to keep in mind with this technique is you're rolling the volume back to zero on your guitar, sounding a note and letting it ring, and then bringing the volume back up gradually as it rings out. So at its most basic level, if I was just to take a random note here and sound it whilst I'm at zero, then roll the volume back in, that is the technique, that is the effect. And as you can see, I'm doing it fingerstyle, but you can do it with a pick as well. So when combined with various other techniques, you can get really creative with this, these swells. Like for instance, you might have heard during the demonstration solo in the intro, I was doing a lot of sort of pre-bend releases and then swelling into it. So the notes are already bent up to the destination, like a full step up there. You can just hear it sounds almost like a reversed note. It's a very cool effect. You can do the same with like double stops. So you could do a double stop bend here, for instance, but fade it in on the volume fader. And it just has a totally different vibe straight away. Really, the limit is your imagination here. What I like to do is bring the whammy bar in to play as well. So you can do stuff like... You can also do this with harmonics. So yeah, as you can see, there really is just all sorts you can do with this technique. I really encourage you to try it out. If you struggle doing it this way, where you use the volume knob, you can actually get a pedal which will do this for you. You can get a volume pedal. But I would encourage you to try it this way first, because I believe it's better doing it this way. So let's talk about tone, shall we? Typically speaking, you want to err on the cleaner side of things. I've got this amp in Studio One. This is a Fender style modelled amp, twin reverb 65. Don't know what this is. Not a clue why that's on there. Doesn't need to be. This is a very clean sound. And then on top of that, I've got the EQ, which we don't need to pay too much attention to, or this compressor. The main thing to look at is this whole reverb here. Now it's got set quite low in the mix. You could typically get away with setting this higher, and you could also add some delay. I'm not going to worry too much about the settings here, but just to give you an idea, something like this. So this is a technique that I think I learnt from Dave Gilmour. He uses it quite often. Jeff Beck uses it quite often too. So if you was looking for some players to actually learn this from, some actual case uses, those would be two players I would look at. So the track I'm demonstrating this technique over is a backing track featured on my channel. It's one of many. I do backing tracks on a weekly basis here, and that is what the channel's primary focus is. These tutorials I just do every so often, so do feel free to go and play over that track if you like the sound of it, and also consider checking me out on Patreon. That is where I release exclusive content on a monthly basis, so if that sounds interesting to you too, please go check that out. But otherwise, that is all for me for this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.